We are recording.
Okay, so I'd like to call order of the Hopkinton Building Committee meeting at 3 o'clock on November 3rd, 2020. Well, today, currently with us, we are with Rob Nato, Chris Kelly, Steve Chamberlain, Gordon Bristol, Doug Proctor, Michelle Clark, Bill Carrozza, and we got Barry over at BPS. We are operating under the governor's executive order for emergency. We are allowed to operate not in person due to the pandemic. We're not in a physical location. Minutes of this meeting will be recorded and posted later after it's been approved. Is that good enough to say?
It's perfect. You're doing great. And
Great.
Jay Burgess just hopped on.
Jay Burgess just joined us for the meeting, and Bill's going to be taking minutes. Thank you, Bill. So I appreciate everyone coming to join this brief meeting on Election Day. I appreciate you taking the time to join us to get this matter through to the school board for this week. To start real quickly, we had a set of minutes in the folder from our October 6th minutes. If I could have a motion for approval, that'd be great.
Make a motion.
And I'll second.
Perfect. Since we are operating under the governor's executive order, we have to do a roll call vote for any motions. So with that, I will start with Rob Nato.
Rob Nato, yes.
Michelle Clark.
Michelle Clark, yes.
Steve Chamberlain.
Steve Chamberlain, yes.
Bill Carrozza.
Bill Carrozza, yes.
Chris Kelly.
Chris Kelly, yes.
Okay, and Jay Burgess.
Jay Burgess, yes.
And Amy Doyle.
Amy Doyle, yes.
And Norm Koopel is a yes. Motion carries. Thank you guys very much for the approval. So next on our agenda is to discuss the high school roof quote. I'm gonna turn it over to Barry and have Steve share his screen to go over the documentation for this proposal.
Do you see that okay?
Yes.
All right, terrific. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. So what we have in front of you is alternate number 4 at the at the middle high school for the roof replacement that is now standing seam green metal roof. We've gone through numerous material types to try to get this down to the lowest dollar. We are now landed on EPDM, which is the same material you have at the every other school. And every bit that we're doing right now originally was spec'd as a PVC, a TPO that was colored and would have ribs in it to make it look like a metal roof. Determined that that was not critical because we could save $12,000, $13,000 by going this way. So right now we have the ability, if we give the eastern exterior the go-ahead, he can get it done this fall in winter, which will seal up the nagging leaks that have been haunting that school, according to Steve, for quite a while now. We've done a lot of investigation, a lot of flashing that Eastern Exterior did without charge to the owner, trying to mitigate this and patch it and try to get it repaired to a point where maybe we could survive until the summer, when it would be more apparent what we were like in a cash position for funds. It was determined that some of these leaks, and one in particular in one of the classrooms, 203, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, has some flashing that this roof ties into underneath a window that has also developed a leak. And the only way to investigate that will be to tackle the roofing itself, tear it apart, take a garden hose, flush it, try to zero in on an exact leak location and make sure when this roofing material goes on that we seal that issue up at the same time. That's really it in a nutshell. And this would seal up the high school of all leaks in its entirety that are apparent and been haunting the facility for a long time now. Don't know if you have any specific questions on that. And Doug, if I went astray, or Gordon, on any of that information, please jump in.
So for me, I'll ask a quick question that's important to me is I'm comfortable with investing in this, but what is the warranty on this?
This is the same 20 or 30-year warranty that we have for the project. I believe it's a 20, but Doug will correct me if I'm wrong.
So if you ship out, you leave, and 3 years from now it starts to leak, we're not going to be seeing a number to fix it.
Well, that's somewhat. The warranties in the roofing world are a little unusual.
Okay.
Very much like asphalt. They're labor only, material only. So
Okay.
there's always a labor issue. And the warranty is generally prorated. So the older it gets, the less they put towards it.
Okay.
So you need to keep that in mind. But it doesn't mean that while we have a warranty here for a couple of years and we're going to stand behind that roof after it's installed. And generally speaking, once you get, sometimes the spot's missed and something has to be come in and addressed, we would be addressing that at no charge to you folks with the roofing contractor to make sure during that warranty period, you would have the life of that roof because it would be properly installed.
And this was the lowest bid you guys got when you put this out?
This was the lowest bid we've got for all three schools. We did not take out and break out this particular alternate all by itself and rebid it after we did the GMP. But
this is the contractor that's working on the roof.
yes.
Okay.
And this is what you run into when you're under contract. We don't want to bring in a different roofer.
Yeah. Perfect.
And this alternate was bid at bid time. So it was competitively bid. This is not a change order, which tends to be not competitive. So this was, Doug and his team put together a slew of alternates to make sure we could bid all potential things that you folks might want to do under the competitive bid process. And what we've since done with that is by changing materials have been able to lower that number even further.
Right. The original alternate number we got was like 53 or 58, Barry, was it?
50, I think it was 56,000 with CM fee.
Right. And what that was a PVC roof that was colored green and had PVC battens to mimic the metal roof that you had there, but got rid of the metal material because metal just has a lot of joints in it. And this PVC material has come on the market since you had that roof originally installed, and it's pretty successful. But so that would mimic the green that's there. So that was 56,000, and to go to a black EDPM on your slope surfaces is the 44,000.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions for Barry or for Doug regarding this?
I got a couple of historical questions only because I know they're going to be asked down the road. So if you can just kind of walk through what was the repairs that were done and the projection for the repairs. So somebody's going to say, well, I thought we already paid to have this roof done, and why isn't that warranted? So what work was done on the roof? Why wouldn't that work have been warranted? You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about the existing metal roof that's now failed?
Correct.
Steve, what year was that built?
98, 97, 98, 99. So it's over 20 years.
It's over
that
the
was the
warranty.
addition. Yeah.
Right, but I'm not asking about the original work. I'm asking about the work that was done on it this past summer to get that section of roof buttoned up. Why did that work not succeed?
So it's not that it didn't succeed. What we did is we broke out the area over the metal roof as a separate alternate because we were concerned about budgeting on the whole project. So that is a separate line item. And then all the flat roof work was in the original base bid. That roof has been accomplished. What they've detected is that they've taken care of some of the leaks, but there are other leaks that are happening under the metal roof. That's why you had that separate number for $56,000. And the roofer has come back and suggested that they could fix, they could pull some of those panels off and work under those areas, but that came up to like 14,000, Barry?
It was about 9 or 10.
9 or 10?
Yeah.
But then while we were discussing that, some other leaks popped up over in room 203. So now everybody's getting concerned that we should just be addressing the whole thing. So that's what that original $56,000 number is to fix the remaining portion of the roof.
So there was not a major roof repair on that section of roof. It was up on
Right.
the main roof that were flat, and this is a different can of worms, so to speak.
Yeah, different
That is correct.
different part of the project. We were hoping that we wouldn't have to, that we could fix it with it, but we really want to. Norm and I were very leak averse, and we really want to button up this and have it tight and have it warranted so we can get rid of the leaks. And this is
We
the
originally
best
thought
way to
that
do
the
it.
leaks were happening at the transition between the metal roof and the membrane roof, but it appears that they're happening up higher. So there's just no way to tell without pulling off panels. And if you pull off panels, things start to get really expensive. So you might as well just do the whole thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just getting ready for when we need to explain it to the public in terms of the process and what happened. So that's helpful. I appreciate it.
right. What was in base bid was the gym roof and then all of the flat roof that was over top of the whole front 97 edition, the whole admin and classroom edition.
Right.
And cafeteria, sorry.
Thank you.
It's that metal portion that's problematic.
Thanks, Rob. It was a great question. I appreciate it.
Will the material that's going on there, I mean, it's probably not something, when it rains and you're teaching in that section of the building, it is pretty rough, noise wise. Will what's going on mitigate some of that issue, or is it still like teaching under a metal roof?
I think your noise might be caused by the cow wall skylight panels. You're probably getting the noise off of there. It could be coming from the metal panels, but I think there's insulation between the roof deck and the metal panels. So I would think you're not getting a lot of noise off the metal. I think it's coming off the cow wall skylight panels, and those will still be there. And those will be due for replacement soon also.
Yeah, but those are over the hallway. Those aren't in the classroom. So I would agree with Rob. I mean, I've been in there doing walkthroughs or observations, and if the skies open up, it's louder there.
So you're talking about in classroom 203 and such?
Yeah, that whole English alcove.
Okay.
It's pretty loud in there.
Yeah, it should quiet down if the metal goes away.
Steve, could you add Bill and Rebecca to the panel, please?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, boy.
Good questions, Rob. And I guess, one person, I mean, it makes sense. It's 44,000. It makes sense to go through the bond project, not through maintenance trust. I understand it's something that's part of the work. And, I think we have a really good plan, maintenance trust. That'd be something someone might ask at some point, that it makes sense to go through this project as planned with the bond. It's part of the roofing project.
Yeah, as an ad alternate, it's part of the scope of the project.
Perfect. I support that. And I'm excited to hear that this will alleviate a lot of the leaking over there, that I can rest easily at night. Does anyone have any additional questions or thoughts on this? Great. So as you know, this committee was formed in order to make recommendations to the school board to approve adults. So with that, is there someone that could make a motion on making this recommendation to the school board for the vote for this coming Thursday, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. And do I have a second? Perfect. So Steve made the motion, Rob second. With that, I am going to do a roll call vote. Rob Nato,
Rob Nato, yes.
Chris Kelly,
Chris Kelly, yes.
Steve Chamberlain,
Steve Chamberlain, yes, thank you.
Michelle Clark,
Michelle Clark, yes.
Bill Carosa,
Bill Carosa, yes.
Amy Doyle,
Amy Doyle, yes.
Jay Burgess,
Jay Burgess, yes.
Rebecca Gagnon,
Rebecca Gagnon, yes.
and Norm Gupel is a yes. Motion carries. Thank you guys very much for taking the time to come today to do that and get that to the board. So real quickly, I am going to open it up to public comment to see if there's any questions that Wendy might have for the building committee. So with that, I'll open up public comment. Okay. So it looks like Wendy has no questions. So with that, I am going to close public comment. With that, I want to just say, if you have not voted, to please go out and vote today. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come out to handle this one issue. So with that, I am going to call this meeting over, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday, correct? Is our next meeting.
You got it, 4:30, regular time.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Have a great night, okay? And
Thanks,
please-
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
care.
Appreciate it. Have a good
Bye.
night.